one. James?
Hi.
Hi, thanks for waiting.
I was just flipping through my stations on the channel here, and I just couldn't help but notice that are you the atheist community of Austin? In other words, you don't believe in God.
We don't believe in God, that's correct.
Oh, okay. My next question is, have you ever read the Bible?
Yes, I have.
Okay, my next question is, did you specifically read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which is the gospel of Jesus Christ?
Yes, I did.
Did you read John chapter 1, verse 1 then?
John chapter 1, verse 1? Well, I didn't memorize it. If you want me to, we have a Bible here.
The only reason I'm asking the question is, what if you're wrong? What if you get on your deathbed? Let me finish. Mm-hmm. What if you get on your deathbed and you just, what if I'm wrong? Okay. You got to give God a chance.
This is called.
You cut him off before he got a good start.
This is called Pascal's wager. Okay. What if you're wrong, and can you afford to take the risk? What have you? We have to understand there are a lot of problems with Pascal's. The whole argument behind Pascal's wager is that belief really ought to be this cost-benefit analysis thing where you look at, well, here are the options, here are the benefits of believing versus the benefits of not believing, and which is better, and then you should base how you make up your mind that way.
Well, I only ask you that. Hold on for a second, okay? Yeah. I understand where you're going. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to say is I went and looked. I went and read the scriptures for myself, and I found it.
You found what?
I met the Lord.
You found what? Oh, you did?
You know what the Bible says?
Can you bring them on down someday?
Yeah,
I'd rather you come to my church.
Which particular passage?
Say what?
Which particular passage was the one in which introduced you to the Lord specifically? Oh, well, anyway, that's a deviation.
No, you're doing just fine. You asked the perfect question.
Yeah.
The reason why I said I did what you need to do is read John chapter 1. Got me nervous. I'm excited and everything. John chapter 1.
We have that effect on
verses 1 through 14. Actually, what happens is I'm a reverend.
Let's read it right now.
Okay. Yeah, please do that.
Okay. And also,
what Bible are you reading out of? Which one is it?
Oh, hell, I don't know.
King James?
It's New Revised Standard Version.
NRSV.
Okay, I was just bracing myself for what could happen.
Okay, now here's... if you hear big thunderclaps. Okay, here then, while we're looking this up, let me then talk to you about...
John, it's the fourth gospel.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
John 1:1, you said, right?
Okay.
Read the 1 through 14 of chapter 1.
Okay, right. In the beginning was the Word, where was with God, etc., etc.,
Don't read so fast, no.
And there was... Okay, we're not...
It's a limited time.
We have a limited amount of time on calls.
Hold on, young man, pardon me. If you're going to say there is no evidence for him, at least present the evidence, put it on the table so everybody can hear it.
Okay, you know what this is? This is a passage in a book that says that there's a guy called God, and he did all this stuff. All right? Now, this is called a claim. The evidence is not the passage itself. The evidence would have to be what there is to back up this
That Bible
passage.
just said that Jesus Christ of Nazareth is God, and there is historical fact that Jesus Christ of Nazareth did walk this earth.
Well, that's an open question still, but the point is, words in a book aren't evidence of anything.
What about the actual historical fact that Jesus Christ of Nazareth did exist?
And what actual historical evidence would that be? What actual historical evidence would that be?
All you have to do is...
We have a Bible.
That's one historical fact.
What extra biblical evidence do you have for the existence of Christ?
Or non-biblical evidence,
that's what I mean. Like evidence outside the Bible.
Yeah.
What exists?
You can read anyone that was alive 2,000 years ago, historian, and they'll be able to tell you there was a man named Jesus Christ.
Bring one up. Name one.
Okay, I'm not going to name one.
Well, okay then. Well, then we refrain from belief on the issue.
Something to you before we disconnect.
Wait, we refrain from belief on the question until you present your evidence. There's nothing unreasonable about that.
You got a Bible sitting right in front of you.
We have a Bible.
And we've read it.
In the whole world.
Jack, I'm sorry. What's his name? You need to keep holding up the board for me.
My name is Reverend James.
James. I could present to you Greek myths that talk about the doings of Zeus and Hera and Aphrodite and all of those gods, okay? And the simple fact that these myths exist and they're written down in books talking about the actions of these gods are not alone and in and of themselves sufficient evidence for the existence of those gods.
All I'm saying to you, young man, is that there are scholars from his time period, okay?
And
that made mention of the note that he did exist and the things that he did do and say. They didn't take a stand neither pro or con. but they stated that he said these certain things, and these certain things did happen to him. He died on a cross, and then they went on to the next historical person.
That's great. Give me a reference, and I'll read it.
Wait a minute.
I'm saying
I was just flipping through the channels when I saw you. I didn't go look in my library and pull up every name of every person.
Well, then good.
I just happened to find you at a whim.
Okay.
I was watching a basketball game, and then here you come.
That's right. Well,
that's how most people find us.
Yes.
Yeah, what I'm trying to get you to see is this. There is more evidence in the Holy Scriptures of the Holy Bible that Jesus Christ did exist.
Jack,
and it's the most accurate historical piece of literature written from that time period that you'll find. Even more accurate than the Homer's Iliad and the Odyssey.
Okay, and how do we know?
I'm challenging you for a second, okay? And the reason why
all right, hang on. Let me respond to that point, though. Okay, you say that the Scriptures are the most accurate historical record of that time period.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now then.
Call any seminary, and they'll tell you the same thing.
Hold it. Wait, not done. Okay, then explain to me the 4 contradictory resurrections accounts. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Each gospel talks about Jesus' resurrection. Each gospel tells a different account of how the resurrection transpired. They can't all be right. So which one is accurate?
Okay, I'm saying there's what they call synoptic or chronological gospels. Okay. And if you take your hand on your left hand, hold your left hand up, and then you take your right hand and you hold it up, and then you fold those fingers together, then that's kind of the way it works. But I don't really. So
you're saying you put them all. You're saying you put them all together.
What happened was there were 4 different men. And they saw, and what one of them saw, he wrote what he saw. Then the third one wrote what he saw. The second one wrote what he saw, and the third one wrote what he saw.
So you're saying four men witnessed the same event.
Am I a witness? Can I be a witness?
Wait. I'm trying to clarify a point with you. Forget
what they said, because you're going to argue with me about something that 2,000 years ago.
James, you just claimed that the Bible was the most historically accurate text there is of this time period. I've pointed out one story with 4 different accounts of how it transpired. They can't all be accurate. 4 different accounts of the same event can't all be true.
If you study the Scriptures, if you give it a chance.
Jack, do you know what the 4 different accounts of the resurrection are?
Calm down a little bit. My name is James.
James, I'm sorry. I'm trying to pin you down on this question. I'm sorry. I need to get an answer from you. Do you know what the 4 different accounts of the resurrection are? How they go?
Well, I get a feeling you're getting ready to tell me.
Very good.
I want to hear this.
Either there's 1 angel or there's 2 angels. Either Mary shows up alone at the temple, or she has 1 woman with her, or she has 2 women with her. In one, she has, I think, 11 women with her. Either the angels are inside the temple, either they're outside. Either the temple is closed when Mary shows up, or the angel shows up and rolls it away in front of her.
Though? How did you consider God?
Because
hold on. How did you, out of all the people to go doubt, you might want to go doubt 50 million other people before you doubt this one particular individual. Give him a chance to prove himself. He says without faith, it's impossible to please God. He said in order for you to discover God, you have to believe that he exists, first of all.
Well,
because he won't reveal himself to you.
No.
Oh, yes, it does. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1.
Well, you could apply that argument to anything. If I wanted to believe in leprechauns, if I wanted to have... Then I would first have to believe that they exist before I'm willing to accept the notion of
up there at Notre Dame, that Catholic Church, they'd love to talk to you.
Bring them on, dude. We are giving every theist a chance.
Let me tell you something. We can play around, horse around, mincing words if we want to, but I'm telling you something. I have already met this dude. I've already met him.
Great. Bring him down to the studio.
Bring him down to the studio. We really want to meet him.
Did you know that?
No,
God is a spirit. He's a spirit, brother. And
I have been trying to pin you down.
And for your spirit to meet God's spirit, you have to pray and read his word, or else you'll never meet him.
Okay, so then you admit you have no evidence. It's all based upon...
evidence. It's called a testimony. I wouldn't sit here and say, I wouldn't have called you if I hadn't met him.
And there are 2,000 active religions in the world. They all have their testimonies. They all have their faith.
Man, the devil is a deceiver.
Explain to me why any of them...
Who's to say... trying to keep you from getting to Jesus Christ.
If there's a God and there's a devil, who's to say you're not influenced by the devil? If you walk through a mental ward, a lot of the people there believe things just as fervently as you do.
Yeah, Andrea Yates believed she was sending her babies to heaven when she drowned them in the bathtub.
You don't see me killing any babies, do you?
No, I don't. But the point is, how can one tell,
drinking blood or anything else like
without solid evidence, how can you have any justification to say The
Bible
being
says
exists.
the just shall be that the just shall live by faith.
Yes. Well,
Adam and Eve fell in the garden because they didn't have faith in God's word that if they ate from that tree, the knowledge of good and evil, that they would die. God said, "I tell you what," He said, "the just shall live by faith," and you automatically cut yourself off when you do not show faith toward God.
Wait a minute.
You got to draw close to God for Him to draw close to you.
If God was speaking to them directly, what did they need faith for? They had positive proof, direct proof that this being existed.
He said, if you do anything other than what I just told you.
Right, so they didn't need faith there. They had this being directly speaking to them saying, don't do this. Where does faith have any relevance at that point? You don't need faith when you have direct proof. I'm asking you to provide the definite proof of your claims.
The definite proof of my claim is in that book sitting right around your left shoulder there, on your left hand.
Book.
It's simple. Okay.
Read the word. It's like directions.
We've read it. We have read it, and I have pointed out.
Have you ever given you directions to a party?
I have. Okay, that's not the same thing.
You'll get to the party.
The difference
is, if you don't follow the directions, what's going to happen?
The difference is, I can look in a map book, which is a book, granted, but then I can go out on the streets and say, wow, this matches up. I can't do that with this book. I can't go to this book and find actual evidence.
Does your spirit and your heart or your soul have any type of appreciation or understanding that there is a higher being?
Do you have any appreciation of the fact that I just pointed out 4 direct contradictions in this biblical text that you claim is the most perfect historical account that exists, and you haven't addressed it? So explain to me that if this Bible you claim is the perfect historical record has direct contradictory information about an event, and that's not just the only event, that's just the simple example that I gave for the purpose of this argument.
I dare you to read that Bible from cover to cover and ask God whether or not He exists.
Why should I ask God anything? I don't believe in this being. I don't ask beings I don't believe in to show me things. You need to provide the evidence for the existence of this being before I have any reason to ask it anything. I'm trying to point out that this is the book that you're claiming is the sole and only evidence that's necessary for belief in this God.
Oh, yeah.
And I can point out to you that there are contradictory passages that create reasonable doubt. Okay, in a court of law, if a jury has reasonable doubt, they have
to. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
I didn't have to say that when I did jury duty because we had a respectful situation going on there.
Really?
But the point is, if there is reasonable doubt, then you have to say there's reasonable doubt, and I can't agree with this claim that's being made. And when you can point to direct...
The evidence gets provided. The evidence for you to meet God, it all comes when you exhibit faith toward God.
James, explain to me then why there are any contradictions at all in your perfect text.
I don't see any contradictions.
I just pointed them out.
Then you haven't read it.
Then we seem to know more about its contents than you do, because I pointed out that each of the 4 Gospels...
You just took God and took Him all the way out of the equation because you're thinking too hard. You didn't even give Him a chance.
Well, wait, we're thinking too hard? Gee whiz.
You think so much, you end up losing your soul.
So if you think, then religion goes poof, and the house of cards comes down. Isn't that what you're saying?
All I said was that you have to follow the instructions that the Holy Bible has already given you.
So if all we have to do is not think, and then all of this stuff will make perfect sense to us.
But it seems like there's a prejudice that you have toward God for some strange reason.
Look, there are 4 Gospels, 4 different accounts of the resurrection.
Those are called the synoptic Gospels. They harmonize, brother.
They don't harmonize, and I will read to you how they don't, if you want.
You better read that again. It looks like to me you didn't really read it for understanding. You kind of browsed through it.
No, I will tell you exactly what happens. In Matthew, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Jesus, show up at the tomb. The tomb is closed. One angel turns up, rolls away the tomb. They see the tomb is empty. Okay? Mark, Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of Jesus, and one other woman show up. Mm-hmm. The tomb is already opened. The angel is sitting there waiting beside the tomb, sitting there waiting for them to turn up, and the angel informs them Jesus has been raised. Mark, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Jesus, show up. They are in a group of 11 women. The tomb is open already, and there are 2 angels present who inform all the women that Jesus has been raised. John, Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb alone. The tomb is open. She doesn't see anyone around. She runs and she goes and gets a couple of Jesus' disciples. They check the place out. The disciples then leave, and then Mary turns, looks in the tomb, and sees the angels inside the tomb, where they then inform her Jesus has risen. Four different accounts of the same event. They can't all be true. Which one's right? Okay? There can't be two angels and only one angel at the same time. There can't be only two women and 11 women at the same time.
I don't mean to keep addressing you as young man. Give me your name again.
My name's Martin. It's right there on the bottom of the screen.
Martin.
Okay. See, I'm trying
to say to you that in all the controversy that surrounds Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who claimed to be God, I can only tell you what I found. Okay.
Look.
And that is this. I'm sorry for exciting you there on your program.
Hey, no, we live for this stuff.
This is what we're here for.
We love doing this, and we're not trying to. This isn't personal, all right? We're not trying We're not trying to smack you around and be mean to you.
Yeah, I don't know. You got me a little excited when I saw you on the television there. I was going, what?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Make you think. Make you think.
Every human being owes it to himself to read the Holy Bible at least once. And you need to pray as you read it for God to give you understanding.
I'm not going to pray.
Do you believe that you have a soul?
No, I do not.
Nope.
You don't believe you have a soul?
There's no evidence that points to that there are spooky souls inside the body.
Do you believe that you have a spirit?
I do not. I have no evidence for that.
Depends on your definition of it, but probably not.
What is a spirit? How do you detect it? Where does it reside?
The Bible says in Genesis that God breathes into Adam's nostril and he became a living soul.
Okay, now where's the medical evidence to back that up? Have you ever seen a spirit on a CAT scan? Have you ever seen one on an X-ray? Have you ever seen one on an MRI? Have you ever...
I trust the authority of the scriptures to guide me on spiritual things.
Okay, well, the thing is, see, here's the difference. We don't see any reason to simply take those scriptures as absolute authority without evidence to back it up. Okay, we don't see any reason to do that.
Hold on for a second. The way you get the evidence when you read the scriptures is by obeying God's word. And then from there, God will...
We don't believe this being exists. We can't obey the word of a being that we don't believe exists. We need to have evidence that the being exists. Then we need to be given reason to think that this being's word is a thing that we must automatically obey. Then we'll deal with that issue. So let's talk about the question of existence first, and then we'll move on to the next thing.
The Bible is a spiritual book, my friend. And the Bible says that...
Even if we contend...
Looks like it's paper and cardboard to me. I mean, see...
Even if we contend that this...
He did pretty good for a spirit, didn't he? Because he put his word where you could reach it.
And evidently not, because it would seem to me that an omniscient, all-powerful being would write a book that did not have any contradictions, errors, or mistakes in it. And I just pointed one out. So, anyway, look... We appreciate you. We appreciate that you channel surfed.
You might not pray, but I am going to pray for you because, look, I've already met him. I've already met him.
Good for you.
All right. Well,
if you can convince him to come on down to the studio, we deeply want to meet together.
Not even
halfway point. Why don't we do it halfway point? You come halfway, he comes halfway. Will you do that?
We don't have any obligation to come halfway.
Wait a minute.
You are the one.
Wait a minute. You just got finished asking me that if I asked him to come to you, you talk to him, right?
You're the one making the claim that a God exists.
A halfway point for you guys to meet. Will you go?
We're meeting you halfway right now. We have this show.
We
accept
calls. You to go to St.
calls.
Austin's Catholic Church. That's a meeting place.
Excuse me?
That's a meeting place.
I was raised.
Now I
was raised. Wait a second.
And you'll meet him halfway. The halfway point you can meet him at is at St. Austin's Catholic Church. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, you got a good advertising plug. You got a good advertising plug in your church. So then what you're saying is the church that I was actually raised in, which was a Baptist.
I didn't say anything about your church. You just got finished telling me that if I arranged for you to meet him at a halfway point, you go there and meet him.
Wait a minute. This being is supposed to be all-powerful. Why is it necessary that you have to go to some specific building?
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, that's even better. Don't even leave that seat that you're sitting in right now. You can meet him right there.
All right.
Read some scriptures. I guarantee you that you'll meet him.
I bet you we won't.
I just read through your scriptures, and I pointed out an inconsistency, okay?
You know what? I didn't prepare myself when it came down to doing this. I just happened to see you at a glance.
Right.
And I said, well, you know what? I could call them and talk to them. Part of me said, no, just let them,
Hey, we appreciate hearing your call.
Something had me pick up the phone and call you.
Okay, but we are in our last 45 seconds now, so we're about to go off the air. We appreciate hearing from you.
Thanks for calling.
Hey,
the Bible says the fool said in his heart there is no God, my man.
Well, the Bible also said what I said about 4 different accounts of the same event, so I see no reason to accept it as a authoritative text.
I should hope you work this out before you die.
That's right. Of course, Christianity, when it doesn't have evidence, resorts to threats.
And if you ever do find this guy, Run away.
Because he kills
He
people.
kills lots and lots and lots of people. Run away.
Okay. I love that. Ashely, I guess we just think too hard on this show. That's the problem.
Yeah, we'll have to knock that off.
Darn
nasty habit.
Darn that thinking stuff, you know? It just kind of gets in the way of that faith thing.